Welcome back. It is day 16 on the Camino Frances. Breaking it down with the help of Google Earth Pro. This is a supplemental material to the vlog series that I shot in 2017, as you guys already know. And today is going to be the second day on La Meseta. We are out in exposed fields, exposed terrain, exposed to the hot sun with very little shade inside. So you better come prepared and also bring some water. Today is going to be the last day walking on the province of Burgos, and we're moving on to the province of Palencia. 28.4 kilometers stage, flat terrain with a little bit of a climb, about a kilometer and a half long, and we're going to gain about 150 meters of elevation, but it's not too bad. We have two towns along the way where we can stop and have a break, maybe get something to eat, refill our water bottles before we venture out once they get into the exposed fields. And one of those is Castrorejiz. It has an amazing ruins that we're going to pass by. And if you want, you can actually stop in this town. A lot of pilgrims books, guidebooks, they tell you to end your stage out there. The next one is Itero de la Vega. And by the time we get there, we're only 9 kilometers away from Boadilla. Before we go into today's stage, let's go over the Camino de Santiago as a whole, so that by the time you guys get there, you know it like the back of your hands. As you guys already know, the Camino Frances stretches about 800 kilometers from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port all the way to Santiago de Compostela. The lucky ones go an extra 100 kilometers to the end of the world to Fisterra or Muxia. I recommend you do both. I walked from Muxia to Fisterra, and that was an amazing day's hike. As you make your way westbound across northern Spain, you're going to go through different autonomous regions and provinces. We're going to start with Navarra, followed by La Rioja, and then we enter Castilla y León. Castilla y León has three major provinces, at least the ones that we're going to cut across, and that is the province of Burgos, followed by Palencia, the one that we're entering today, and then León. Once we get to León, what's up ahead is Galicia. And Galicia is divided by Lugo and finally A Coruña. Let's go into today's stage with the help of the elevation profile, 28.4 kilometers to Boadilla del Camino. We're going to be walking downwards for the majority of the day, and we're almost at the halfway point is when we have to go up a hill with a pretty steep incline. But it's only for about a kilometer and a half. I remember I did it in almost 18 minutes. We're climbing about 150 meters. And then once we're there, we're kind of like in a little plateau before we go down once again into the valley. And by the time you're there, it's pretty much flat throughout until you make it to Boadilla del Camino at the end of today's stage. There was no Wi-Fi in Hontanas the night that I stayed there, which was odd, but we couldn't get into Facebook or communicate with the outside world. That is a positive on its own. So this morning I didn't know the forecast. I didn't know what was ahead of me. It was a clear skies, and a cool morning just like days past. But I was getting the feeling that it was going to warm up as soon as we were getting closer to the midday sun. People started waking up around 5 in the morning, stumbling over their clothes, going to the restroom. So by the time it was like 6:30, I had enough. So I get up and I went to have my breakfast. I had a Napolitano and a café con leche. And at 7 a.m., I was already at the outskirts of town. This is where I decided to get a couple of shots with my drone. So just as I crossed over this backcountry road, I tried my luck once again at the rock stacking. You're here out in the countryside. I remember my legs, the pain was just killing me. So I decided to take a painkiller, ibuprofen 400, just to ease the pain. I will have it in the morning, and it will last me all the way to the Albergue. Once I would take off my boots, the pain will simply go away. There are a few ruins here, Las Ruinas de San Miguel. And this is where I experienced the sunrise. Pretty cool. The grass was wet, so you had the sun, the golden light just hitting the pasture. It was just amazing. If you're into photography, it was quite the sight. Almost 8 in the morning when you're rejoin the backcountry road with just a little bit of traffic. It's not too much. And you make your way down to the amazing ruins of the Monasterio de San Antón or Saint Anthony. They have an albergue here in case you want to stop. I suggest you do. I got some drone shots of the ruins, which is just amazing. The Gothic archway from the 14th century just set the mood. This is from the Order of the Antonine from France, and they follow the Tau symbol. 25% of the day is now behind us, and it's only 8:50 in the morning by the time I got to Castrorejiz. The end of the stage, as I mentioned before, to many. According to a few guidebooks, I stopped just to get some orange juice at an open bar, and also to get some drone shots of the church and also the Castillo de Castrorejiz, which is in the distance. It is said that it was founded by Julius Caesar himself, and in 1359, Queen Eleanor of Castilla was murdered here by orders of her nephew Pedro after escaping the kingdom of Aragon with a large quantity of jewelry and gold. What a family, huh? Couple of water fountains here with the Tau symbol, which is pretty cool. So I managed to refill my camel bag and the half-a-liter bottle of water that I had with me. I also stopped just to put some sunscreen on my face. I was hanging my socks and my underwear from my backpack because I didn't get a chance to completely dry the night before, and they were just a little bit damp. You make your way out of this amazing town. You're back out into the countryside. You're 10 kilometers away from the next town, and there's no shade inside. Up ahead is also the 12-degree incline climb to the Alto de Mosterlares, 1.5 kilometers, 145 meters of elevation gain, and it took me 18 minutes to get there. So by the time you make it to the top, there's a monument there. There's inspirational quotes. There are letters, things hanging from the cross. There was also a guy there that had like snacks for donations, so I got a soda for a donativo. And then you're walking kind of like in a plateau, just for a little bit. Got some drone shots from up here. The views are just amazing in every direction. You get to see the town down below. Then it was 10:51, and from here you get the other side. You get the views from the other side of this mountain. There's an 18% decline down to the valley below, but the views are just breathtaking. I could not stop droning, so I just kept flying the drone, getting shots of the pilgrims walking down the path, myself, cyclists, just the ever-expanding fields. We're already at the halfway of the day, the 50% of the way. And not far from there, just like an oasis in the middle of the desert, there's a place where you can stop under the shade. And I took off my shoes, let my feet air out. I think I put some water in them too. I had an apple as a snack. There was a guy there selling snacks as well. There was just a large group of people sitting there and taking a break. From here on, you rejoined another road. I think I saw a tractor pass me by here, but not for too long before you take another detour and you make it to Albergue de San Nicolas. This used to be an abandoned church, and back in the 90s they renovated it and they turned it into a very peculiar albergue. I got a stamp there, and also this is where they have the bridge that separates the two provinces, and that is the Itero Bridge over the Pisuerga River. It has 11 incredible arches, and it was built by the order of Alfonso VI to unify the kingdoms of Castilla and Leon. Remodeled in the 17th century, and it was also mentioned in the Codex Callistium. 10:31 when I got to the welcome side to Palencia, got some shots of the woods here. Finally, I was in the shade, walking next to the river, but not far from there, I got swamped by a bunch of bugs. It was just a cloud that I had to go through. I had to cut through it. Here, there's agricultural fields, there's irrigation canals and sprinklers, and it wasn't even the summer by the time I walked through here. So made it to Itero de la Vega at 12:48 in the afternoon. I wanted to get something to eat. I wanted some lunch, so I saw an open bar. I think it's at a hostel, a private hostel, and I went in and I got an omelet pincho for lunch. I ate it as I walked. For some reason, I like to eat as I'm walking. I just don't stop. I don't even take a break. So yeah, made it through the town, which by the way has a few albergues here in case you want to stop. And your stage here at the border between two provinces, which is something that I like to do now. It was 1 p.m. in the afternoon. There's a mural here. And then you're walking from here all the way to Boadilla on the road, 9 kilometers. You're cutting through all these open fields, agricultural fields, cutting through water canals. You're by the 75% of the way there. You see all the abandoned villages in the distance. Pretty creepy. you might say. And I also got some drone shots here because I could see in the distance like 3 hills, like 3 humps that you will see. So I got some shots there. It was 1:50 in the afternoon and I had to stop here in this patch of woods just for a quick pit stop before going down all the way to Boadilla del Camino, which I got there at 2:37 in the afternoon. Finally, some shade, right? So the mission was to go to the Albergue. There's a municipal one here, but for some reason, by the time I walked by it, everything looked closed. I didn't see people hanging around. So I continue on walking, and I got to the 16th century Iglesia de Santa María de la Asunción, which contains an exquisite stone font that unfortunately I didn't get a chance to see as the church was closed when I got there. What I did get to see was the storks nesting on the bell tower atop. Right in front of the church is a 15th century rollo de justicia, or a picota. This is where they would hang the prisoners before passing on judgment. 2:42, I got to a pretty cool albergue with an incredible vibe. It had a great courtyard. It had a bar inside. It had the beds on another wing. I checked in. I got a top bunk bed. I put all my electronics to charge. Then I took my shower and I hand washed my clothes in the patio. The water pressure was incredible, so which is good. But the thing was that the clotheslines were all taken, so I had to hang my clothes from a tree just to let it dry. There was plenty of sun, so it was gonna take care of that. After that, I decided to have a beer. Now, that's my routine. I usually have the beer after I settle into the albergue. Some people just show up, and that's the first thing that they do. It all depends the kind of day that you had out in the countryside. And then I went to get something to eat. It was a great communal dinner with great friends before calling it a night. Headed back to my bunk bed for some Facebook after dark and to answer a few emails, since the night before there was no albergue. It was piling up, and it was also the way that I would communicate with the outside world. Tomorrow, 25.6 kilometers to Carrión de los Condes, another highlight of the Camino Francés. I'm going to be staying at an albergue with the singing nuns. So I guess I'll see you guys on the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, share the video, become a member. You know the whole thing.